I've been told by everybody up on this roof that they're all off the roof. I am on the roof of exposure 4. Got fire through the roof of the fire building in the entire rear section.
Now remember, given the payday, has he been accounted for? Okay.
610B. That was the Mayday. 610B.
I'm here. We got a fire. 1.5-story, single-family dwelling. Fire shown from the second floor. Give me a second alarm on this.
Coming up to the top floor. I got people hanging out the top floor windows with a baby.
Commercial building. A lot of fire, a lot of smoke. Go ahead and strike a third alarm on my orders on this.
Got people on the front fire escape here with windows vented below them. We need somebody up there.
Yeah, let them know we got a job. I'm pulling up now. Second alarm, I got a 1-story single-family frame. Heavy fire showing from the attic.
So we're using all hands. We got one line stretch, fire on the 4th floor. Second line being stretched. Primary searches are underway.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to Old School. We're hoping that your families, both your families, the first family at home and the second one at the firehouse, are doing well. We've got another great show for you today, another great topic that we just kind of came up with as usual, but everything's moving along. It's cooling off outside. We're doing well in the fire service. In light of everything that's been going on the past couple of years with the pandemic and everything else, the fire service is doing well. We got our thoughts and prayers going out to our Florida families down there with everybody, John, that's had to deal with that hurricane. Florida got hammered, just absolutely hammered. So our thoughts and prayers are out to the people that live there and anyone else along the East Coast that was affected by that hurricane. But the firefighters working their asses off, doing a great job, buddy, as always. You were down there for a little bit in Florida. You're familiar with that, but man, oh man, how do you escape that when it hits you, it hits you. But I'll tell you one thing, they've got their act together, don't they? When it comes to, and let's just talk selfishly right now about Florida, the fire service, the state corps. What an incredible job they do handling hurricanes, don't they?
You know, and how can you not? It's such a, I don't want to say it's such a common occurrence, but statewide, it is a common occurrence. Each individual county or area or city might not get hit for 20 or 30 years, but just about every year, storm comes and blasts somebody down there, and the state's got to come in and FEMA and you know, all those folks got to come in and get their stuff together. And they already got it together because they know they have to do it. I'm sure they have regional offices and everything else, and they really do a great job. It's a constant thought down there, and they handle it well.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, they do. So please keep thinking about those folks there and praying for them, and they'll be back. Like I said, they're already rebuilding and taking care of things. But
it's not like how the FDNY handles fires. You know, it happens every day, so we're ready for it. You know,
that's it. So well. Speaking of that, and the fact that some of those fire departments down there, John, got whacked pretty bad. Some of the videos are out there with some of those places with 4 feet of water in their firehouses, and
I saw that the wheels are underwater in the firehouse. The rigs are in the firehouse, and the wheels are underwater to the top of the wheels.
Yeah, and I saw some idiot post on one of those videos. Some idiot firefighter posted on one of those videos, dumbass planning on their part. I'm like, really? So what hill are you supposed to park that on in Florida? That's like saying Houston doesn't plan. When you're at sea level, when you're level, where do you park? Where do you move your? You know what I'm saying? Get on an airplane, fly down there, and walk around and see what high ground you're going to park stuff. I mean, really?
The only legitimate thing, not to that criticism, but the only legitimate thing, and I am not a firehouse planner or any of that other stuff, but you would think by now, modern day America, modern day, let's say Florida, it's just like New Orleans, right? It's low country. You would think when you have either built firehouses or plan to build firehouses, or maybe even renovate and move firehouses, but you think they build some high ground. You think they'd make some spots where, the emergency service center, the dispatch, the fire station, maybe the police headquarters are all up on a hill, either designed or built just for flooding.
I think some of the places, I know a lot of the EOCs and a lot of those places, they've done that because, they've done so much to hurricane-proof things, the windows, the buildings, everything being rebuilt for decades now is being built to hurricane standards. Which promotes another challenge for firefighters, taking windows and ventilating stuff. But still, they've been doing that. I think they actually are in some areas doing that. But some of these firehouses have been there 30 years, 20 years or whatever. And But you're right. I mean, there's some planning, but man, oh man, there's really not a way to escape it when you've got that much water. When that thing parks on top of you,
Severe.
you have 4 feet of water in your firehouse. You got 4 feet of water in your firehouse. I don't care where you're at, but that brings up a point, John. What do you do? I mean, you've got your apparatus that gets flooded. All right, your firehouse, you lose. For all you know, whatever flooded in there, we know that it's not all just spring water that's flooding you. The contaminants, everything else that go along with. Think of everything in the streets, everything in the ditches, everything in any pile of trash anywhere, any of that stuff is floating in that water. It's.
Oh, and I had a picture of a big old alligator in a living room, in a flooded living room in a house.
Oh yeah.
Animals and gators and snakes and stuff are now everywhere instead of just being down the block at the pond or in the water.
So everything's out and about, including that. So the water's, and then the rigs. So and under. If it was a firehouse fire, let's say, or you burnt up a rig because of an electrical problem or whatever, you turn to your spare rig, and worst case, you borrow from a neighboring apartment. When everybody's affected by it,
right?
It's hard. So that brings up, we were just talking about this, you and I the other day, about this whole paying it forward thing and helping folks out. Like I said, paying it forward, maybe we call this one paying it forward firehouse to firehouse, just helping each other out. Now there's a couple places that do that for some of our listeners. There's a couple places couple organizations, foundations that help fire departments, especially those that don't have the greatest budgets in the world or the biggest budgets. Right now, John, everybody's struggling because, where we're at with our country with supply and all that, then the chain, all that, the supply chain, all that stuff, so on and so forth. Okay. Some of the new fire apparatus, if you order a new rig, new engine, you're a minimum of 24, some of them are 3 years out. It used to be that we got to wait like almost a year. They're 2 and 3. Now, my volunteer fire, Wichita West, my volunteer fire department, great fire department. We ordered a new pumper and they're like, yeah, you're a minimum 24 months out, probably longer. So you're talking 2+ years, in some cases, almost 3 to get a new pumper. Let's say you've got one pumper, you've got one rig, and all of a sudden, boom, it's in an accident, it catches fire, you lose it, a flood, whatever.
You're out of business. Yep.
You're out of business, and you can't turn around and go, I'm gonna go to the fire engine car lot and find me another one.
We'll just go pick up a spare down the block.
Yeah. So that in itself brings up an interesting topic of, maybe help, this whole helping each other out. An example I want to bring up, John, is what you guys did for Wichita West. All right. And I love telling this story. I for our listeners, I was on my partner here, John, for years. I said, the moment you get rid of truck 589, their 81 Seagrave, formerly Ladder 24 in Manhattan, 11 years of running first due at the Empire State Building, then South Blooming Grove, John's fire department in Orange County, New York, they refurb it. Oh my goodness, they refurbed it. And then it's taking home trophies year after year after year at all the volley parades and all the parades and all this
20+ years.
Oh, good God. It just beautiful rig. I'm like, God, I want that. I want it. I was assigned to one like 2 years older for years. And I just, man, I want that rig. And then John tells me, folks, he tells you, well, our guys don't want to, it's not a museum place or a parade rig. They want, it still fights fires. They dropped a new motor in it not too long ago, the ladder. It's a great rig. And I'm like, okay, all right, I won't get it. So you remember, it's after drill night, and me and my chief Ryan Fetzer and my captain Chris Bashford, we're standing outside the firehouse at Wichita West, and I'm talking about, hey, does anybody have a place where we can store this thing? Anybody know where we can store it? I'm still working on John to get this thing from South Blooming Grove. I go, it's a shame it won't fit here. We can use it as our ladder truck. And Ryan goes, why won't it? And Chris goes, yeah. I said, what? So we grab a ruler, John. Remember, I go, how long is that thing? So we grab a ruler and we measure. We go, it'll fit. It'll fit. And I remember calling you, go, we want it. And you go, send me a letter tomorrow. Send me a letter tomorrow. I got a meeting the next day. So we crafted the email. Ryan sent it to you. And the next thing, right?
Yep.
Will Norris, Will has
approved it.
Oh, yeah. Everything was approved. Your board approved it, and our board approved it. And then Will Norris, another great chief, John. He's the chief of Freebrook Cooper here, volunteer department in Wichita County, Texas. chief of the president of the Chiefs Association. He's been head of the city shops for the fire department side here in Wichita Falls for almost 30 years. What a great guy. What a great guy. I remember I walked in, I saw him, John. He goes, I hear you guys are getting a ladder truck. I said, yeah, I'm going to fly up to New York, pick up for my buddy John's department. He goes, you get me up there, I'll drive it back with you. And I'm like, you're kidding me. You mean you'd be willing to, I'll fly you first class. You're willing to go, I'll use my miles and fly you up there. I'm going to get like the EVT guru of mechanics to ride back. Oh my God. So, and I know I'm tough, but this is a great story. So we fly up there, John, and Big Daddy. I mean, what a
South Blooming Grove. Absolutely. Yep. Billy Pappas. Yep.
Billy Pappas. Oh my God. He picks us up. What a riot. What a great guy. Billy Pappas. I love that guy. He still sends me text messages out of the blue. Hey, happy Father's Day.
And of course, the coincidence is, as involved as I am with you and Buddy and everything else, I wasn't even around for the exchange of apparatus because I was away on a gig or something like that.
Yeah, you took off on us. You bailed on us, but
I just
but so Billy
took care of us. All the boys did. I heard.
We went. We got our hotel. We got the next morning, and we met him for breakfast at the gas station next door. The little God,
no, Jay's Deli there. Yeah.
Oh, Jay's Deli, and the whole like 70, 80 your guys show up, and they're all like, "Are these the guys from Texas?" And then and a couple of you guys who I know. Pete gets there and stuff, and you guys.
Will was there. Yep.
Oh, and they were so excited that the ladder truck was going to a fire department, another volley department in Texas. So we go across the street, and they pull the rig out, John, and they're going through the whole thing. And then you remember the last part of the story. When we go to pull out, they're all standing up on that embankment taking pictures of the two rigs next to each other. And then we were leaving. A couple were actually like teary-eyed, emotional. Some go, "We've had that truck forever here." That's it was
a lot of them young boys, a lot of the young guys that are there, they're in their 20s, late 20s, even get a little bit older. And most of them most of the senior guys that have been around for 20, 30 years, that's the only ladder truck we've ever had,
Oh, and they were pretty emotional. And Will and I left, and oh my God, Will was such a great partner. Every morning I go, I'll meet you for breakfast at 7. 6 o'clock, he's out there checking the whole rig over, doing a pre-trip. He just was phenomenal.
But your buddy and your mechanic, your partner for the trip, didn't he have, had tools and stuff too? It wasn't just like he was coming helping driving. Now you got a professional mechanic with you in case something happens on the way back down. It's not like you're driving a Chevy station wagon. You know what I'm saying? Like everything down to the tires and everything else, something he's familiar with,
Exactly. We're driving it from Orange County, New York to Wichita County, Texas.
How many miles was it?
Oh, I don't remember. But that's through the mountains in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, then Texas. But we had a great trip, and here's the other part of that too, John. So because you guys had stripped it off like I'm sure I was joking. I said we got there, it was up on blocks, but it wasn't. So I put out a little plea. Hey, if you have any ground ladders, this is because you had to take and put them on your new rig, right? And we're like, hey, anybody got any ground ladders? This is what we need. And our buddies in Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh, go, we got the 3-section 35 and 24. So we pull off the road. We get there, and then they go, what do you need? I go, everything. And they go, and that was my common thing was everything. And they go, come around back to the warehouse. The chief did, the chiefs, they're loading us up with nozzles. They're getting rid of and stuff that they're not going to use. That they just write off.
Sitting in storage, right?
Yeah, and what's this? What's the phrase? Donated to a worthy volunteer fire department. Wonderful guys. It was so cool that they took care of us. So we come back with this ladder truck with a couple compartments full of tools and nozzles, a couple more ladders that we didn't have to buy. This beautiful ladder truck, by the way, I took it on its first run on a pin and accent rollover to block traffic, and I just took it to a structure fire the other day and fired through the roof of a house, and here I come with that ladder truck.
And this rig was in great shape. The paint job, the paint on the ladder and the wheels and the chrome. So you guys didn't have to do work like that. You had to do some new lettering and put a new panel, a new Wichita West panel up on the ladder and stuff. But other than that, this thing was ready to go.
Oh,
we know you needed to do some electrical work and stuff. But
yeah, well, we had to do a little bit. I mean, it's a 1981. Well, I tell people it's like a muscle car. It's an 81, but it's like a 70 Chevelle. at some guy's shop. Don't let it fool you, because this thing is dynamite. And the proof, John, in the pudding was when we did the ladder test. So we did the ladder test, the aerial ladder test, with a neighboring city with all their ladders, and it outperformed everything that was there. The hydraulics, the jacks, cylinders, and the ladder. He kept checking, and he goes, "They haven't moved not even an eighth of an inch." And we're giving you this much. Oh my God, this guy was like running back and forth. And the speed test, I go, that's because these things were built like they should have been built. The speed test, the ladder, everything was just wonderful. So here we got this truck 710, truck 710 in Wichita County. The Wichita West Volunteer Fire Department, Wichita West Fire Department, has a ladder truck that was in South Blooming Grove all those years and was part of the FDNY first. Think of how many times a week, sometimes a day, that went to the Empire State Building on calls.
Oh, that was Midtown Manhattan, just a couple of blocks from Penn Station, and
wasn't that Father Judge's firehouse too?
Yes, Father Judge was right across the street.
There you go. So there's so much history with it. The news did a thing on it. Now, didn't you guys help another volunteer department with your old American LaFrance?
Yeah, South Blooming Grove, and it's a coincidence you should mention that, because when we did buy that rig, that American LaFrance, we bought it refurbed, obviously, and at the same exact time, we bought two rigs. We bought an American LaFrance pumper from the same refurb guy, and it was a New York City rig. It was 214 engine 214 from out in Brooklyn. We corded in with 111 truck, and
it was what, 111?
With 111 truck.
Oh my God!
So we got 214 engine. He refurbed that. He gave us a bigger tank and changed some stuff around. And like I said, that's the kind of stuff, the work that the refurbers do. Everybody knows that. So we bought both of them. We bought that and the American LaFrance engine, and we ran an American LaFrance engine. We ran the tail off that thing, and we got rid of that. Gosh, I'm embarrassed to say, I don't know when. Way more than 10 years ago. Probably, I don't know if it's 15 or 18, but whatever it was, we bought a new engine. We got rid of that, and you know how we got rid of that? A couple of guys knew somebody upstate New York, a volunteer company farther north from us, in the same situation, probably financially in a worse situation than us. Not like we're not by any stretch of the imagination a poor place that has to go out and spend their own money to put glass in the windows or anything. But we don't have a real big budget. But anyway, this place was more like that. We donated that American LaFrance to them. We filled it up with diesel fuel. They drove down, picked it up, full of diesel fuel. We left the hose on it. We left the SCBAs on there because we were getting some brand new SCBAs anyway. We left SCBAs with the bottles, with the hose, with the nozzles. We told them, take it, drive away with this whole rig just like that. And boy, they were tickle pink like they were coming back from the American LaFrance factory. You know what I'm saying? and I'm not making fun of them. I'm saying the appreciation there between volunteer department. There's all these different levels of people. There's a big paid urban fire departments that have big, gigantic budgets that get, like New York City, rig every 10 or 11 years. That's by contract. You can't even violate that. They can't be first doing a firehouse after 10 or 11 years. I forget what it is. And then there's other places, maybe smaller communities that have some pretty decent money and keep their rigs real nice. And maybe every 15 or 18 or even 20, they farm it out and they get a new rig. And then there's places that just never get a new rig, that their new rig is used rigs from somewhere else on a regular basis. They get somebody else's 20 or 25-year-old rig, and that's the newest thing they got. So they roll this 1980 thing or a 79 thing, and the next newest thing they got in the bay is a 56 Ford commercial cab,
right,
on a dirt floor. I've been to dirt floor firehouses, so it's there's a lot of levels of different people out there in the fire service, and that's why this donation process, that's why this brotherhood thing of sharing our stuff with folks that need it is very important, because there's a lot of people out there that rely on their existence. The fire protection of their whole little village relies on the people from other departments being generous, the generosity of others.
And John, how many times have you and I, we travel all the time, right? How many times we've been somewhere and guys are showing pictures? Like I was just at a place Delhi. They were like, yeah, this was in Delhi, Ohio, great fire department, new stuff. They got new rigs now, but when we were starting off, we ended up, we bought this Cincinnati pumper, and they donated this to us. And, so many places have rigs that were other people's rigs. I'm always like amazed in a good way, going, man, so that wasn't, no, we didn't buy that new. We got that for so-and-so. They got it for so,
And even when it's a sale, even when they have to buy it, some of the bigger departments or the richer departments, well-off departments, they'll sell it, but they sell it for a fraction. They sell it for $5,000 or something like that. When the thing is really in good shape, it's only a 15-year-old rig, and they could probably get 75 grand for it, and they sell it for 5,000 to a small department that's going to use it like a brand new rig first due.
Well, paying it forward, and like you said, I saw it firsthand when we drove away from your firehouse with that ladder truck. I saw the emotion on your guys' faces. First of all, that was their baby leaving. Secondly, and then they're following us because I kept posting Facebook. Where you guys? And Joe, he kept going, where you guys at? What town are you in? What highway? What mile marker are you at? When you guys, and we were going to do a push-in, but we couldn't because of COVID, but a wet down ceremony. But your guys were the time we left to the time we got, and even the week, is it in service yet? What's it look like? And I kept sending you pictures. So, the Alf you guys gave away, the ladder truck you guys, obviously South Blooming Grove, generous group of guys and gals, right? They're good people there. So look at the other departments that have helped, and I'll just single out Wichita West, those that have stepped up and helped us. Our good friend, remember Marion Blackwell in Spartanburg, the chief of Spartanburg, our good friend there. And I remember the first time we were there teaching for him together. I've been out there for Marion before. You looked at me and you went, God, I love this guy. He is just Marion is so into the fire service. He's such a good guy, great chief. And he emailed me, John. He goes, hey, are you guys VHF or UHF? I said, we're not digital. He goes, well, I got a box. I'll send you MOU. I got a box of radios and chargers and lapel mics and stuff. So he sent a whole box of radios, even some pagers to us. Then how about our friend Jeff Bryant in Amboy?
Yeah, another very generous guy, right?
Oh my God. For our listeners, Jeff Bryant is the fire chief in Amboy, Illinois. He and Nick Dingus are partnering up. I'm sure you've heard of Dingus Fire. We love them. They take care of us, and Dingus Fire is absolutely incredible. Fire supply business. They're taking over the world, and they should be, because you talk about people that are in our fire service family taking care of firefighters. Nick Dingus is a class act, great guy, and Jeffrey is just, I love him and his wife Tammy. I love them so much. I've known them, John, for forever, and same thing. With him donating extrication tools to us and equipment and just $60-something thousand of equipment. And gave us the ability to pass along some of our extrication tools to another neighboring department. I mean, my thing is, John, if we don't need it, there's departments around us that need it. There's departments in Orange County that, if you don't need it, they could probably use it, right? I mean, that's been going on for years there.
You know what? And sometimes you don't even realize it. Sometimes you meet guys and it's even guys, departments that you hang around with, and suddenly you're like, where'd you get that? Oh, matter of fact, it just happened here, right here. One of our neighboring departments just purchased a used ladder truck from another one of our neighbors, maybe 2 departments away. And just a great idea of sharing and making good, generous deals with your neighbors, with your neighboring departments to do stuff like that. So it's just a great concept. And we were happy to do it in South Blooming Grove. And listen, we've been on the receiving end too. Williamsville Fire Department up outside of Buffalo. My friends up there donated. I drove up there with my pickup truck and another guy a couple of years ago because they had a bunch of turnout gear that was in great shape.
Oh yeah,
hardly ever worn.
I remember that.
They gave it to us, and I mean, listen, I'm not saying we follow the rules all the time about 10-year-old gear and getting rid of it, because sometimes we get gear that's 10 years old and it looks brand new.
Right.
So there it was from Orange County all the way up to Buffalo. That's a long ride. That's a 4 or 5 hour ride. That's about the other end of New York State. We drove up there, got a bunch of gear, a couple of hundred sets of gear. We went out to lunch with them and stuff. And now we get friends. Now we get friends in Williamsville. We see them all the time. It's a great habit to get into, and it's going on all over the country. We just, we did this today because it involved you and I in particular, personally.
Well, yeah.
This is going on all over the place, and it's nice to highlight it and guys talk about it and get in the habit of doing it,
Well, exactly. Paying it forward. Like I said, firehouse to firehouse. I mean, like I said, the ladder truck you gave us, the guys that gave us the ladders for it, and some nozzles and tools and stuff. and then you guys donate your Alf, your American La France with the air packs and hose on it. Here you go, guys. Take it. Just take it. Drive it out of here. And boy, and that was the first of 2 trips, John. We went up there a year later. He says, bring a trailer with you this time. Now, the first time, Ryan and Chris are pretty amazing. You know, the moving. So those guys he calls it playing Tetris. He can load a truck better than any moving company anywhere in the world. The guys, our buddy Scott Whitnar, Jeff's assistant chief, is still amazed. He goes, I don't know how they fit all that shit in there. But Ryan and Chris did, man. They just made everything fit. And then we brought a trailer back up the following year. And there's, people, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a way to do it. Your city, your district, your department very easily could decide to donate something. It happens all the time. All you have to do.
It's just, everybody got different policies and different procedures they got to follow. Most places have to declare a surplus. So commissioners or the chief or whoever is that runs the department can in fact do that. Declare an apparatus or a chief's vehicle or some hose and say, we're declaring that surplus. We're not going to use it anymore. It's more than 10 years old. And once it's declared surplus, then they can either donate or sell it at a reasonable price or whatever it might be. Listen, everybody's doing it. There's a way to do it. Some guys be like, well, we're restricted. We can't, there's always a way to do it if you want to do it.
All it takes is the policymakers to go, okay, let's just make sure we do everything, legitimately.
And we don't want to forget about, because we said we were going to mention it. We haven't mentioned yet. I'm sure you had it. I'm sure you got it on your list of stuff there. But so there are organizations, there are foundations now that have been established that take care of this. They sort of coordinate this. And, you can donate stuff to them, at whatever tax benefit there is to the district or the fire department, right? If there's any value of the equipment. And then this organization, and it's not just one, but there's several. We're going to talk about it. And then they receive requests from people around the country saying, gee, what we really need is, we just need one, maybe like a chief's car, something, even if it's old is good. We don't have any car, ours crashed, it was 30 years old, or we need a couple 100 feet piece of hose, or maybe a Hearst tool generator. We don't need the Rams right now. We just need the generator, and everything from fire trucks to helmets to turnout gear. And they're great organizations that are out there working real hard for people.
Well, and well, what? Let's mention the one right now, because we'll talk about this one as long as you brought it up. I just grabbed it again, the website, and you are intimately familiar with these folks and with this firefighter, but Terry Farrell, and the website for our listeners, and I'll say it again later. It's terryfund.org. Terryfund.org. Terry Farrell, and here's a story about an FDNY firefighter, right? That's John, that fund, you're pretty familiar with it.
Absolutely.
They're always posting. We're so proud. The XYZ fire department's receiving their new engine, a 2002, Pierce engine. Whatever. And they have different chapters. They've got a whole bunch. They're
all over the country, and each of them run their own little fundraisers, their own little donation supply chains. Where they reach out to people around them and get it. I'm just reading one of the things here. Terry Farrell Firefighters Fund. The crew arrived in Kentucky with 3 engines and loads of gear, tools, and supplies for a local volunteer fire department there. And you go through their fund, the terryfarrellfund.com. You go through this Facebook page, and it's just unbelievable. Not only the stuff that they're giving out, but remember, everything they gave out, somebody else gave away. Somebody else said, let's donate this to the Terry Farrell Fund. Let's donate an engine. They're driving engines around. They're delivering engines and trucks and chief's cars and hundreds of sets of gear, Hearst tools and generators. And you could just go radios. You go on and on and on. There's a lot of generous people out there that are donating stuff. And of course, we are 100% behind the Terry Farrell Fund. It's a great organized fund.
Yes.
The name, obviously, a Terry Farrell, FDNY firefighter. But whether you do it locally between company to company, or whether you do it, through a fund like that, if there is nobody in your neighborhood or your town or your district or your battalion, you know what? Then donate it to the bigger funds, because they got their tentacles out across the whole country, and they can find a little place 1,000 miles away that needs exactly what you have a second piece of that you're getting ready to give away, and they deliver it right to these folks. it's just Terry Farrell Fund is top of the pile. Really, really good people that work
and
really
they
well.
and John, and they do more than just apparatus. I mean, basically, it's and they say it right on their website, supporting those who serve our communities, established after the tragic loss on 9/11. But they do, oh my God, they do so much for so many people. Here's another, another fund in memory of Terry Farrell, killed while serving with Rescue 4, and he was the past chief of Hicksville and Dixville Fire Departments. The fund supports the families of firefighters across the United States with educational and financial grants. So to date, they've given out over $4 million to families of firefighters, an additional $6 million is surplus. So $4 million to the families of firefighters that were killed, and $6 million in surplus gear and apparatus. Right. So it's not even just the apparatus. $4 million to the families of firefighters, that were killed in the line of duty. It's an absolute, folks. If you have a chance, again, take a look at the website. It's Terry, TERRY fund.org, terryfund.org.
And they run seminars around the country too. Guys like Mike Dugan and myself, and there's people all over the country, big names and small names alike, local guys that appear at these funds raising seminars, and we collect nothing, and all the money goes where? To the Terry Farrell Fund for their operating costs and for them to get stuff, and they fix stuff up. Somebody gives them something. If it needs work, they patch it up. They fix it up a little bit,
Oh, I'm telling you. And again, not just apparatus, $6 million in apparatus and surplus equipment, $4 million to the families. That's pretty freaking amazing. They've been on Fox News. They've been all over, but they're just absolutely wonderful. So that's one fund. You know what I got to mention, John, and this is the reason we started even talking about this the other day and said we should just jump on here and run with it. So my chief, Ryan Fetzer, and my captain, Chris Bashford, and myself, this weekend, Friday, John, we leave for Santa Fe, Texas. Santa Fe, Texas, right next to Galveston there. You and I were down there teaching not too long ago. And you had to leave right after class because Maureen was having her baby shower, all right, to get you back home for that because you weren't going to miss that, and that obviously so. So that night, they said, "Hey, would you mind? We'd like to go see if you want to go to the county's appreciation dinner for first responders." Like, well, yeah, sure. So we go there, and they kind of said, "Hey, would you say a few words?" I'm always honored to do that. So, John, I'm sitting having dinner with a bunch of different chiefs, and I'm sitting across from Tommy Anderson. Tommy is the chief of the Santa Fe Fire Rescue down there, Santa Fe, Texas. 50 years in the fire service, 37, I think, was. What a great person. First of all, I tell you, if you sat with them, you'd love to. This is one of those you turn to me and go, I love this guy. What a true gentleman. What a great guy. What a great boss. And he's cleaning out his desk as we speak. I think he's pulling a pin. But anyway, what a great man. So John, same thing. You know me, I'm always on my organized moochings. What can I get for my volunteer department?
Oh, I know.
So I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, we got 2 new pumpers. This is a couple months ago. We're getting 2 new pumpers in next week. I said, oh, really? What are you getting rid of? And he says, well, we're getting rid of this and this. I said, are they clunkers? Oh, no, they're in service. They're great rigs. And I, me, I said, would you be willing to donate one to a worthy volunteer department? And he looks at a couple of chiefs. He goes, yeah, I think we could. I went, holy shit. So he goes, yeah. So we're talking about it. And they show me a couple of pictures. So we get done with the dinner. And I'm riding with the chief from Galveston and his wife, another great boss, the chief of Galveston. And I go, where are we going? He goes, oh, Tommy, why don't you go to the firehouse? We're going to show you the rig. So we drive at 9:00 at night, John, 9:30. We pull up at one of their firehouses. They got a bunch of firehouses there in Santa Fe. They open up the doors. There's rigs of service, and oh my God, it's beautiful. I mean, first of all, it's spotless, like your truck was. I mean, light tower on it, bumper light, all the. I mean, just in service at that moment. What a great rig! We started up, pull it out, light it up, look at everything. I'm taking pictures. So a couple months go by. I'm like, because he also said, hey, we're gonna, we got some inch 3/4 hose on a pallet. We just tested. I'm like, we'll take it. We need first, like I've said before, John, how many times? If we can't use it, Wichita West.
Right.
Ryan always says, my chief, hey, if we can't use it, there's other volunteer departments that
somebody
can.
10 miles down the road could use it. That's right.
We got a new ice machine through a grant. We gave our other ice machine to another volunteer fire department, to Freebrew Cooper, to Will. We got the tools from Jeff. We're able to give a set of extrication tools to another department. Just here you go. Come pick them up and take them like you guys did. Paying it forward. So the chief calls me just like a week ago. He said, all right, you ready to come pick up this fire engine? I went, I thought you forgot about me. He goes, well, it's going to cost you some money. I said, well, that depends. He goes, you got $1? He goes, you got $1? He goes, I'll lend it to you. So anyway, this Friday we're jumping in the car and Ryan's pickup. We're driving 6 hours to Santa Fe, Texas, picking up this beautiful rig. I just, and to the guys in Santa Fe, Texas, and to Chief Tommy Anderson, thank you so much. This is, and John,
and wait a minute. No parking that new engine in front of my ladder truck now. Okay?
Well, here's the thing. We're fundraising right now for our pumper because we don't, and I told somebody the other day, I said, look, this is 2 years. We're out 2 years plus on our new pumper. We have one rig. If it goes down for a PM, we have to move our tender. We have no pumper. This is a godsend. And even when we get the new one, this will stay as a backup. I mean, it's perfect timing for us, John, because, we've sat there before going, we're shit out of luck, man. If our pumper goes down, and now Santa Fe, Texas steps up and says, here you go. The chief already sent me all the paperwork. Wonderful guy. Like I said, great department, going to be helping, again, paying it forward to Wichita West. Like I said, 2 years for our new pumper. 2 years, a long ass time. Can't get here quick enough for that pumper, but Santa Fe, Texas, thank you so much. And John, real quick, I know I've been kind of dominating things here because I'm so excited about this. I'm sorry, but we talked about Terry Farrell. Texas we started this a long time ago when I was in Louisville, the Helping Hand program. Because remember years ago, you could give away turnout gear and air pack because of liability reasons. Right. So what was the story? Yeah, we set it next to the dumpster last night, Chief, and it's gone this morning, right? Now, we did this in Texas where the Texas Forest Service took out a liability. They got the warehouse. So Terry Mcgrath, our buddy Terry, 40, 50 sets of gear every year because they do you get a new set of gear every, few years for, so you have 2 sets. He calls the Forest Service. They drive to the firehouse. He gives them 40, 50 sets of gear that is the oldest is like 6 years old. So it even has 4 years life. Some of it's still in I'm just saying, they take nozzles and rigs and hose and air packs and everything.
Great. They come and do the transport too. So that's not even a chore for the fire department that's donating. They just got to decide to pick it up and put it out on the front apron so somebody can come pick it up.
Oh, that all you got to do is call and they have the warehouse. So then the Beeperville, fire department says they fill out a form and they go, we're in desperate need of turnout gear. Well, okay, what are your sizes? Boom, they get a grant from the Forest Service. Come pick your stuff up. And you drive to the warehouse. Sometimes they deliver it.
Wonderful.
It's called the Helping Hand program. If our listeners at all curious on how this works,
and I'll bet across the other 50 states, the United States, I'll bet there are other organizations like that. Which which if you guys, anybody listening, if you have an organization like that, obviously we're already talking about it today, but please send that information to it, and that's something we'll share down the road in a future old school podcast.
Yeah, and exactly. And if you don't have something going on in your state like that, contact the Texas Fire. Contact the president of the Texas Fire Chiefs Association. Go to the Texas Fire Chiefs Association website. Get on there. Get a hold of Terry Mcgrath. There you go. Terry's going to kill me for this because he's busy. Reach out to Assistant Chief Terry Mcgrath at tmcgrath@cityoflouisville.com. tmcgrath at citylouisville.com and say, hey, Chief, can you send me the information on the Helping Hand program? If you're looking to start one in your state, there it is. There's the groundwork. So,
yep.
So,
excellent.
I mean, paying it forward, John, closing thoughts on this show. And I know this wasn't tactics. They don't have to be tactics and strategies. We talk leadership. We talk everything on this show.
Nice mix.
I mean, forever departments, forever, since before horses were the fire service, volunteer fire departments and then even career departments were handing rigs down and over to other rigs.
Yep.
It's been going on forever.
Closing thoughts for me are, look at all the people we talked about today. All the people, all the organizations, everybody we mentioned, everybody was giving, everybody was donating. From Williamsville to South Blooming Grove to you guys there, Wichita West, everybody's taken, everybody's given. It's a great circle. It's like the circle of life. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are giving, some people are taking. Look at the ladder truck that we started the conversation about. It started its life in New York City, went up to Orange County, New York for 20 years. Now it's down in Texas. It's its third separate life of serving a community. Why? Because you can do that. These rigs will last that long. We're not saying these things are top notch, the most modern equipment on them. No, these are 30, 40-year-old rigs. But whether it's turnout gear or Hearst tools or anything else, if you don't mind having the last or 2 models older than what everybody's buying right now, most places are pretty generous. And places like Long Island. Long Island's a pretty well-off area in the United States, right? The volunteer fire departments and fire districts out there are pretty well funded. They make a lot of donations to Terry Farrell Fund, which is based out there, you know. So we're real proud to be able to mention all the folks all around the country that are donating to people and starting organizations that facilitate that and help that happen.
Oh, absolutely. So, hey, it can be done. You guys did it. South Blooming Grove has done it time and time again, helping other departments, and they've been on the receiving end as well. You know, I told my chief, you know, because he was adamant about you're gonna thank. I said, yeah, boss, we're gonna thank everybody that's helped us, because he's been grinning ear to ear just like anybody else when we get some of this stuff. But then he turns around and does the same thing. He turns around, donates to other departments. So this paying it forward, firehouse to firehouse, Amboy, you know, Jeff Bryant, we love you, Jeff, and Tommy, the chief, the chief of Santa Fe. You guys are awesome. Terry Farrell Fund is phenomenal, folks. If you see a golf outing coming to your way that they do, any fundraisers,
they do a stair climb, they do seminars, they do lots of stuff.
And you don't have to worry about where the money is going with that.
That's
this is
right.
one of those
run by firefighters' families, just like the Tunnel to Towers. Run by firefighters' families. Not even a question about where all the money's going.
They don't have to worry about it. So, hey, pay it forward. If you can do it, there's chiefs out there. You can do it. If you know what, you got a pumper sitting there and you're going, what are we going to get for this? $3,000, $4,000, whatever. You know, I bet you there's someone not too far from you that would take that rig like it was brand freaking new and love it and serve their community and protect their firefighters. So help someone else, pay it forward. If you believe in what we represent, the fire service, this whole brother sister thing, that comes easy. John, email for them to get a hold of you.
Chief John Salka at gmail.com.
And I'm Chief Lasky at gmail.com. Hey, spread the word about Old School. We got a great following. We don't get paid to do this. We have fun. We just like throwing these things out there and talking shop. And thanks for all your comments and all your compliments and that. We appreciate you. We end all of our shows with one very important phrase, and that is, please keep the men and women of armed forces in your thoughts and prayers. And remember, never forgetting means just that, never forgetting. Be safe. God bless you. We'll catch you next time.